This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Tim is the nicest guy in the world. I know that people think I'm a nice guy. Well, I mean, not all of you, but some of you do. And it's true, I guess I am, but I try to be anyway. But boy, Tim is a nice guy. He has the patience of Job. The patience of Job. Guys, we got a big show today. We are going to be joined by Senator Montigny in a few minutes. Later in the program, we'll be joined by the new head of the recently elected head of the New Bedford Police Union. Lorenzo's going to be here, going to give us a call, and it'll be his maiden voyage here on the program. I hope it'll be the first of many. I do like when the police union, the fire union, feels comfortable calling in and coming in the program and talking about what they're doing, what they need, what they'd like people to do, what they're doing for people. So I do appreciate the police union quite a bit. And that'll be in the 10 o'clock, 10:30 hour. But now we're joined by a good friend of mine, good friend of yours, Senator Mark Montigny. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
Good morning. Merry Christmas.
So you are here to. We've all got that this morning.
Yeah, where did it come from?
Cigars.
No comment.
The holiday season is here. It's Christmas. Your favorite time of the year?
It is. There's no question. And that's even before my son was born. Now it's, of course, awesome. So Christmas starts for us on December 26th and goes the next year. Not quite, because he says to me things like, Daddy, I think you're more Christmassy than I am. And I want to tell him, yeah, because I have a 10-year-old.
Right.
But you know what? Like, I was spending time checking out Common Park and downtown like I do every year. And it's so easy to get in the Christmas spirit around here. But it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. The city's done a wonderful job. I've enjoyed it. I mean, of course, when you have such deep memories, it's a different level of spirit, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm lucky. Like a lot of the people I know and some people that I love didn't grow up here or don't live in the area they did grow up in. Right. And it's different. It's different. Last year I was in Lisbon for early in the Christmas season. And it was so beautiful. Okay. I love Lisbon. It's one of the nicest cities in all of Europe. But it wasn't the same for me because I couldn't wait. My feeling was that these are days away from my son.
Right.
If you're in your home or with the people you love, the lights seem brighter, the music's nicer. And I told Michael Rock, because, as you know, you inspired me. I called you at one point or text you to say, let's do something, because there's people out there that just have nothing and they don't deserve to fall between the cracks. Many times they're hesitant to ask. I don't know why we still have stigma and pride about people in need, because today you're in need and tomorrow you're helping me and lifting
absolutely,
me up.
Mark.
And that's a fact.
Absolutely is how it works.
Yeah, and but it's too bad that somehow people feel that. So society has given them this impression that if you ask, or you've lost your job, or maybe you're working 2 or 3 jobs and barely paying your rent, that somehow you asking for help for your family, whether it's a holiday or not, frankly. It's one of the reasons I went on with Michael. We just talked about it. He kind of outed me that I, as you know, had been hesitant to come on.
Right.
And I never am. I'm a politician. I want my constituents to know what I do.
Right.
And sometimes I'm defending what I've done or not done. Other times I'm, a critic would say taking credit. A supporter would say letting us know. But I want you to know this is policy I wrote. This is a law I passed. This is a project in Greater New Bedford that I helped or took the lead on. But Christmas is different. Like it's a fine line. I mentioned on Fun 107, my dad made this amazing little rough manger, like the way I envisioned as a child. Yep. with the manger in in the Christ story would look like. And when we did a good deed, we could put a piece of straw in the manger. So now he built it. He built it before I was born. So for my older brother, this is over 60 years ago. I still have it in my living room.
Oh, that's wild.
With the same straw. It's 60-year-old straw. Who knows, what local farm came up with that.
That is wild, Mark.
But the point I'm trying to make is that my mom taught us that if you're out there public, now she didn't envision me being on the radio talking about it, but if you're taking credit for a good deed, it kind of diminishes the deed.
Yeah.
So
that's the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's that, that little
resistance,
that little guilt that comes.
Yeah. Resistance. Yeah.
But my feeling is, and I agree with Michael, who convinced me otherwise, that two things. First, there's so many people to thank, and part of my role is to, as a leader, is to say thank you. There's people giving, and some are giving a lot, some are giving a little,
amazing.
But it's proportionally a lot for them.
It's
and
amazing.
That's even more so if you believe the Christian teachings that I was taught. It is amazing. People come through, and I look at my friend Eddie Curtis, who people have always looked at as somebody struggling and somebody in need, and he's always helping people with what little he has.
Right.
People are amazing. I look at people like Scott Da Silva, who lost his son AJ to cancer, and he's out there helping Christopher Melanson and others that, or at least inspiring others to help. So I feel like this morning, staying away from politics and doing Fun 107 and BSM gives me a chance to, one, say thank you, because it's tremendous effort that's gone on with the staff here. And secondly, to inspire people. So what I've done with the United Way and other groups that we work with, we're going to probably be able to help about 1,300 kids total.
It's amazing.
With the fund generally. But the United Way, we said to them, look, you guys are doing an amazing job with Fun 107 and BSM. What about some of the people that maybe got left on the table? Right. Maybe they're not traditionally looked at as in need, or they're not connected to the system in a way that somebody will say this family really could use a food voucher and some help, but maybe they're just too proud. They lost their job. There's an illness. So by saying that we'll match anything donated, I hope two things happen today. One, people that are giving will feel good. Right. Two, people that can still maybe give will do something. And then three, that if there's any families out there still listening, that they will contact us through you, through Michael Rock, through the United Way, through my office, and totally anonymous.
Yep.
There's no pride here.
Right. We want kids to have bicycles and toys and all that stuff. Yep. Mark and I have been working on this now. It seems like about a month, probably. And a lot of phone calls. Kristen was helpful, obviously. The word I keep hearing is bicycles. Yeah, and I got to give you, when you're a nut, you have to admit you're a nut. I don't know whether it's just like I get stuck in my childhood stuff. I mean, look at what I talked about today, the Manger, the Common Park downtown, where I was last night. For some reason, and maybe because when we were kids, we didn't have much by the way of money, but as I've said it before to you, I mean, I had the mom and dad that gave me treasure beyond anything material, and I can remember, I had several bikes stolen because of my own irresponsibility, not because they were master thieves in New Bedford who cut locks, because I left the bike at Buttonwood Park and thought it would be there, the next Neil had
day.
his bike stolen too.
Yeah. So for some reason, and then I guess the other reason I feel is so much mind and time is wasted online. There's nothing we can do to put that genie back in the bottle, but you have to try, as I do with my son, to keep him outdoors. He's fascinated when I tell him about Kick the Can and all these crazy games, Capture the Flag. But one way, if you can get kids excited about a bike, they have to be outdoors.
Absolutely.
Unless you're living in a mansion, they're not riding it around the living room.
No, you're 100% right about it. And it gives them a sense of independence. You can drive, and it doesn't really cost much to keep a bicycle up. But it is an initial investment.
This is the thing. So we hook up with groups like YOU, Denison, and we've created these bike programs and actually bought a pretty significant amount of bikes. And they even repair them down the South End. So if anybody in this listening audience knows of a family or knows of children, you got to let us know. I mean, I give away a bike. I'm more excited than the kid that gets the bike.
Mark, I can tell.
It's a fact. I mean,
I know
that's one thing you can't take away from me. You can say a lot of bad stuff. I almost said the other word.
No, but it is, look, it's fun to be generous.
That's the thing.
Right.
I mean, you got it, Chris. It's like in some ways, this sounds very strange. I'm going to be a little counterintuitive, but in some ways, it's the most selfish act on earth because it feels better. Like my mom and dad tried to convince me that giving was better than receiving, and I didn't buy it initially. I wanted Santa Claus. Santa Claus came. Thank you, pal.
A punch.
Yeah. But it's like I was down at YOU yesterday at their Christmas party, which we sponsor, we put on, and the kids are beautiful, and they're picking gifts, and I gave them that speech, but I gave it very, I hope at their place, at their level, not lecturing them,
right,
but saying, guys, you don't need money to give. There's somebody in your neighborhood that you can help out. There's maybe an older lady there.
Wash their car.
Yeah, little things, and you will feel so good.
You really do.
I mean, come on. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact.
We have Senator Mark Montigny here in the studio. This holiday season, WBSM and the United Way of Greater New Bedford are looking to make a mini miracle happen for 7-month-old Scarlett and her mom, Megan. Scarlett was born with a soft palate, basically a hole in the roof of her mouth. It requires special formula and bottles. You can get a surgery to fix it. We're going to do that for her, but she has to gain weight, okay? So the mom, Megan, has to take care of Scarlett, and she doesn't work because, it's around-the-clock care she has to give Scarlett, and that's led to a lot of, bills piling up and things like that. So you can help change lives of this New Bedford family with a donation to our Mini Miracle program. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. Find out how to donate by clicking on Mini Miracle at the top of the WBSM.com on the website or the WBSM app. Basically, Scarlett's got to gain weight, okay? And then they can do the surgery. And that's in part to the generosity of Sousa Family Orthodontics, First Citizens Federal Credit Union, Boca Restaurant here in Fairhaven, Cask and Pig Kitchen and Ale House, Fall River Municipal Credit Union, Leach Garage and Auto Body, Stallion Plumbing and Heating and Cooling, and, of course, Senator Mark Montigny. It's an amazing story.
It's an
right?
incredible story. And Christopher's, all the families. I mean, and what has happened, what people don't realize, and I hope these families that you featured do realize this, they have not only spurred on the giving, because it takes personal stories. People are tired of being asked for money.
Yeah.
They're skeptical about where it goes, as am I. I could do a whole show on scam charities.
Sure.
But there's always local charities that who run them, who's promoting them, that if they've passed the scrutiny of BSM and Fund 107, like the United Way, the agencies we deal with, like Denison and the Boys and Girls Club and the YOU, and so many of the other agencies, we don't do business with them and give them money unless we know that they're responsible to the taxpayer and they're responsible to the recipient.
Right.
But these stories help not just the families. Of course, it tears at your heartstring. What it did, I'm one example. What it made me realize is we're going to be able to take good care of these families because the stories are so compelling. But we want to know about the other families.
Right.
It's caused people to call in and send in and call my office and here to say, I need help.
You were just talking to a gentleman from the high school.
Yeah, Lance.
They
raised $700 from those great coaches over there.
It's amazing. I mean, everybody gets in. This area is so generous.
Yeah. Isn't that true? Isn't it interesting how people tend to be more generous when they have their own struggles? And not that everyone that we are among struggles.
No.
But I mean, let's face it, we have our own challenges, and a lot of the people calling in are probably a good percentage of them are struggling on their own. And
if they weren't struggling now
than somebody else, so I can help.
If they weren't struggling now, they remember when they were.
That's right.
That's right. Mark, have you started decorating your house for the holidays?
Of course. I sometimes stop before Thanksgiving, but lately I've been busy, so it's Thanksgiving.
I got to recommend, if you're heading back to the city, which I think you are, when you're going down Route 6, you got to stop in to the Potting Bench. The store here, it's right next to CVS.
Stuff.
Great stuff. It's all done up for the holidays. You got to stop in there, Mark. See Danielle and all the people that work there. They've got really great, beautifully decorated boxwood trees. They're all different, so they're perfect for your entryway. They're stocked with one-of-a-kind ornaments.
For you. That's the thing.
Yeah, they'll do it all for you.
Guys like me look good. It's like I go to Bejeweled because they wrap the gift, and then any woman I've dated that has gotten one says, you can't wrap that well. And then they figure it out.
Holiday poinsettias are available at Potting Bench Florists and Gifts. They've got holiday wreaths, centerpieces, live plants, silk arrangements, or fresh flowers. Fresh flowers are always nice, right, Mark?
For sure.
If you make a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's some fresh flowers.
I haven't done that in a little while. I don't know if it's because I haven't made
though.
the mistake or if I haven't had the inclination.
It's coming. It's coming, Mark. I know you. So if you need something that's more custom for your flower arrangements, just talk to Danielle. Her and her staff, they'll make it happen for you. They do amazing work down there. Arrangements from Potting Bench Florists and Gifts are a perfect way to decorate your home this holiday. They make wonderful gifts. The individual ornaments are fantastic. They make great gifts as well. Stop by Potting Bench Florists and Gifts right here on 2 Sarah's Way. Free parking in the CVS Plaza on Route 6 in Fairhaven. Potting Bench Florists, and you got to check out the store. It's so done up for the holidays. It's excellent. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Senator Mark Montigny here in studio. Folks, Santa Claus is coming back to WBSM. His helpers at the New Bedford Fire Union Local 841, those great Americans, have once again made special arrangements for Santa to fly his sleigh right to WBSM so he can be on the radio and take phone calls from all the little children across the South Coast. This year, the big guy will be here for 2 full hours. Tune in on Friday, tonight, December 13th, beginning at 7 p.m. All the children can call in and tell Santa what they want for Christmas. That's Friday, tonight, December 13th, beginning at 7 p.m. Thanks to the generous men and women of the New Bedford Fire Union Local 841. Santa Claus will be here taking your calls starting at 7 p.m. What do you think of that, Mark?
I think that's awesome. Especially the kids should be calling in. I might try to have my son get through.
That would be great.
We'll see.
That would be great.
I think it's great.
Let me take a call here. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Senator Montigny.
Oh, I know this voice. Good morning, my old friend.
How are you,
Mike
sir?
Lima, how are you?
Isn't it funny how that voice is so distinct?
Oh, yeah.
He could be on the other side.
He could be.
Very, very easily.
He could
How
be.
are you?
I've seen my better days getting up there in age, 66, so...
Oh, come on. That's young.
Still kicking, though.
I know,
Still kicking.
and I love that you're still prognosticating. I've heard many of your calls with Chris.
Chris is a great guy. I called, and I know that you don't do it for the rah-rah and all the accolades, but Owen is a personal friend of mine, and so is his mom. And I just want to thank you for what you did. It's great that he got the recognition he deserved for thinking of the kids at the hospital. And
thank you.
All else I have to say is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you again.
You made my day. You made
heart.
my day, Michael. But I got to tell you something really funny. 1 minute before you called, I was telling Chris about Owen Costa and how, again, BSM inspired me. I read his story, and I said to my staff, find him. I'm seeing that boy, and he is so charming. I had the best time over at the Ale House, and we gave him a Senate citation. But really, the fun was the charm and inspiration. I mean, he's out there raising money to help kids when he's struggling in ways that we could never imagine.
You know, I've known the mother now for about 13, 14 years, and so I've seen that young man grow up, and it's been a battle his whole life, and he continues to battle. So anyone who's dealing with any health issues should take a cue from him and just have a positive attitude and do the best you can to try to get through the issues that you're dealing with. And again, I know you don't do it for any reason except for what you just said. And again, I thank you personally.
Well, thank you, Michael. It's it's a tough
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
balance, as Chris and I was saying. You know, you have you get into this job that I was not born into or raised into at all. My family was apolitical. They didn't encourage it. They didn't discourage it. My mom and dad encouraged us to pursue whatever.
Sure.
But it is tough because you get so caught up in if you do not let your constituents know every day what you've done for them tomorrow, never mind yesterday,
right?
You may be on your way out, and then you get into this cheesy. Oh, I could tell you stories and write a book about the cheesy competition between politicians, and like all of us have some need to be out there because the public demands it, right?
Right.
And all of us have an ego, or we wouldn't be able to fight these battles, and you have to just accept that. But some along the continuum are obnoxious, and you end up, if you're not careful, fighting your way down to the bottom.
Right.
So the other side of that, where I was brought up, is to do the right thing always. Sometimes you don't do the right thing, but you tried to with the facts you had and with the effort you were capable of. But in these ways that you talk about, Michael, it gives me tremendous personal satisfaction that I can make a difference. I can sometimes help financially with a policy or a grant program, but I also can do these little things that maybe make a child feel good or a person struggling, but I get more out of it. Again, if anybody thinks, and Owen's mom and stepdad and family think, and Owen himself think that I didn't get more out of that.
Right.
I mean, I'd be selfish if I told you it was just my job and I went to hang out with Owen for an hour. It was beautiful.
For folks who don't know, if you want to learn more about Owen, there's a story from Tim Weisberg up at WBSM.com. That way you're not left out of the story. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Mark. It's been a while, my friend.
Good morning.
Sitting here listening to you, and my brother knew you first because you went to school together, and I came back here in 91.
What, Phil? Is Chris screening the calls and only letting my friends through? It took me a minute to know your voice, and it shouldn't, because your voice is as recognizable as Mike Neiman.
So my voice isn't normally what it would be, but yeah, Chris knows.
Oh, it's great to hear your voice, buddy.
Always. And you and I have gone through some wonderful things together. We've worked on some great projects, and I know you're old enough and you don't like to stroke yourself. There's things you've done without needing recognition. And you, like me, something we've always had in common, Mark, is we know people with needs, and we're fortunate enough to be in positions we know people who can fulfill those needs, and we network people together. And the payoff
for me is
when I sit back and like you, and you see something good, you see a smile on somebody's face, you see somebody go to another level, get their life or the quality of life improve. And in the end of the day, that's the payoff.
Oh, that's a good way to put it, Phil. And, again, it's tough since you guys are both talking about doing it without recognition, and all you guys have done is conspire with Chris to give me recognition. My mother would be listening to this saying, yep, that doesn't count.
Your mother was a listener.
My mother was a listener. She's listening. Wow, she's listening from heaven.
You trying to escape, Mark? You trying to escape this and deflect it?
Oh, my mom, I'm telling you, I just told a story about the manger that we have, I still have in my living room in New Bedford, from my dad built 60 years ago. And my mom literally would say, she didn't really say, if you get recognition, it doesn't count. She wouldn't say that, because sometimes you get recognition organically, like you guys calling in. I didn't ask you to do that. Shame on both of you.
Being anonymous.
But you can't seek it. That's the thing. And politicians seek it all the time. So most of their good work, in my mom's eyes, is diminished.
Thanks for the call, Phil, as always. Have a great Christmas. I'm sure I'll talk to Phil again. But, yeah, look, as long as people in politics are doing the right thing, I'll always give them a forum here to come on and talk to their constituents and have their constituents talk to them. It's the greatest gift I think I have for the areas. I can bring in elected officials, and when they're doing the right thing, and give them some publicity for it.
But you see the conflict. You see, if, like I said, I'm not trying to be wave the false humility flag, because I don't know a politician that's couldn't use a little dose of humility once in a while, including this one on the microphone. But you need certain attributes to succeed in this business, right? I mean, right. It's a war at times, especially on Beacon Hill and in Washington. So you can't sit there and just be willing to be a potted plant. On the other hand, you look at the good things people are doing in the community, everywhere in this community, with no recognition, running from recognition, hiding from recognition, contributing time and or money, and never being recognized for it. And most of them don't care about that. So it's an inner conflict for most of us.
The nice thing is, Senator, you're good at legislating. You've got a lot of experience legislating, and that's why we leave it up to you, and we don't trust you to do the cooking. That's why we use Riccardi's, right? Riccardi's, if you have to host a big party this year, Senator Montigny, you're not going to do the cooking. I hope you're not going to do the cooking. Leave it up to Riccardi's.
I know my weaknesses.
Right? Leave it up to Riccardi's. They'll take care of you. Riccardi's is your first stop for tasty party platters, large or small, hot or cold. Folks love their antipasto, baked lasagna, chicken and eggplant parmesan, meatballs and sausage, and so much more. Simply uncover and serve, Mark. Packaged and prepared for an attractive presentation. Riccardi's Italian Restaurant on Hathaway Road in New Bedford, and right here on Sconneck Road in Fairhaven. Riccardi's Italian Restaurant. When you see the Riccardi's box, you know it's going to be a great party, right, Senator?
Yes, and I don't cook, so it's real, and I love their food.
They're great, right?
So, last story. So my girlfriend Erin, way back that you know,
yes,
and many in this listening audience know her, so I'll spare her and maybe keep her last name out. I won't say that it was Erin Tierney who finally was smart enough to show me the door. But
aren't they all?
But the Women's Center had a fundraiser called Men Who Cook, and they asked me to do it, and I was very hesitant because I know that I can't cook. So I showed up, and in the full interest of transparency and honesty, I went around the whole night and said, men with girlfriends who cook.
Ah, that's funny.
And she did the cooking, and I did the presenting and serving.
We're going to take a break, folks. Stick around. We have Senator Mark Montigny here in studio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. I'm Chris McCarthy. We have Senator Mark Montigny here in studio. We're going to have you back, Mark.
The most beautiful, just an opinion.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to debate Christmas songs, but the most beautiful to me, and my son would verify this when I bring him on one of these days, it might be my favorite song of all time, not just Christmas song. I don't know why, and listen to that message. If you need a message this week on giving, there's the message. It's not about how much money, or it's the little things like that song suggests.
Folks, we're kind of keeping it Christmassy and giving today, so I'm not going to ask him any serious policy questions, but you do have a lot of things you've done up there.
That's my gift. You're going to leave me alone today? And ironically, the reason I'm sneaking out at 9:45, I'll just call it like it is. I've got a haircut appointment at 10 o'clock. Right. I really do have to still do those things. So one of the most exciting things that I'll come on and talk about soon is my work on the state pier. I was able to put another $10 million into the last economic development bond, and I'm very hopeful. I never ever celebrate until it's built. Right. Not the groundbreaking, the ribbon cutting.
Right.
Because there's so much baloney in the government and so many difficult things. When you have the ineptness of the leadership at UMass, destroying the Star Store project and the things that government can do wrong, I tend not to celebrate until it's done right. But I do think we have a real opportunity on state pier, and my legislation is law now. So we'll talk about that. But mostly I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to however you celebrate. Right. But I have to say, all of my friends, and I wish them by their holiday at the time of their holiday based on their religion, it seems like all of my friends, no matter what religion, they all believe in one God, and they somehow admit to me they love Christmas too.
Yes. And Santa Claus, right?
And everybody loves Santa
Everybody
Claus.
loves
Does he have
Santa.
an enemy anywhere? I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Is it a heat miser?
Yeah.
Or cold miser? Aren't they?
No, the heat miser, yes.
Yeah, heat miser.
But that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah.
They have the stroll this weekend down in New Bedford, the Christmas stroll.
Downtown looks beautiful.
Tremendous, right? Tremendous.
We had the parade the other night and the lighting of the tree. And I'm just like a visiting dignitary. It's the city guys made it happen, the city men and women who worked on it and did a great job. The mayor and the city council, but all the staff too. They're quietly setting this stuff up, and then downtown just lights up. You drive down one night and say, "Wow, look at this beauty!" It reminds me of, I try to go to the peanut store and it's not there anymore, so I go to No Problemo and I love it. Right. But I miss the peanut store
and Carter's.
Carter's
clothing.
Which what I love about Carter's, not just the quality of clothing, but they've kept the tradition.
Yes.
The building looks the same, reminds me of when I went in there with my mom and dad.
Yep.
But yet the quality keeps with the times.
Yes.
And the fashion keeps with the times.
And free parking.
They
don't
which
grind
I've
their
snuck
customers.
in that lot to go to Freestones, but always feared a ticket or a tow.
Mark, again, you've impressed me. You've impressed everybody here with your generosity and making a lot of kids smile this year. We really appreciate
Well,
it.
let's end it by saying, like, if there's someone out there listening who knows somebody, get in touch.
Mark loves
Please,
to buy bicycles.
please. We love bicycles, but that's not all. But
No, I know.
bicycles, we definitely
You've done
have a
Chromebooks.
bias towards bicycles.
Right, but because they're good.
Yeah,
They're good. Mark, thank you.
See you.
I'll
Merry
see you later.
Christmas.
Folks, I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. I'm Chris McCarthy. I want to thank again Senator Mark Montigny for stopping by and being so generous. The other day, we've been working on this for about a month, maybe longer. Because, I talk to Mark regularly, and he talks to me regularly, and mostly it's not about Christmas stuff. Mostly it's politics, but... So I looped in Kristen, who's works here at the station, and we were talking to Mark, and he just kept saying, look, we can do this, we can do that. He said, let me swoop in, and fill the holes, right? And we still have a lot of need out there. And I know that many of you are very generous people, and some of you can't be generous, but you're generous in heart. And in that respect, just pray for us, right? Pray for all those souls out there, because Santa Claus is great, but, it's Jesus Christ, right? That's really what this holiday's about. And I love Rudolph and Santa and all that, but my Santa genuflects to the cross, right? So 508-996-0500. That's how you can get on the program. It's hard to come out of one of these, up-tempo numbers, right? Senator Mark Montigny, we're helping out kids, and we're getting bicycles and surgeries for kids. And how do I twist into politics, right? Well, I will say this. A very generous move by the city council last night to put forward a home rule petition to get full benefits for LeVar Gilbert. LeVar is a brave police officer. He was shot in the face. Merry Christmas, right? But that's the reality. He was shot in the face. Probably wasn't even intentional, but it was a young man firing a gun on the streets of New Bedford, and he, surprise, surprise, he hit somebody, right? That's what happens when you fire a gun in an urban environment. Again, I know, Merry Christmas, right? But last night, the New Bedford City Council got together to make a home rule petition. It'll go to the mayor to get the Parrott Committee to give LeVar Gilbert, a New Bedford City police officer, full benefits. When you get shot in the face, folks, that's where PTSD comes in, right? You get shot in the face while you're at work. I don't know that you're ever the same again. Yeah, you'll go back to work, maybe. But are you really the same again? It takes a chunk out of you. I imagine, because I've never been shot in the face. And the entire city council voted in favor of it last night with one exception. Shane Burgo. Shane Burgo didn't even bother to show up. He didn't even bother to show up to vote to get full benefits. A home rule petition. This is just step one. City council does it, right? Ian Abreu put the petition forward. He should be congratulated for it. Shane Burgo didn't even bother to show up. Maybe because he thought he was going to vote against it. I don't know. But he didn't even show up. And it will surprise me now if Ian Abreu and Brian Gomes two great supporters of New Bedford Police generally, vote now for Shane Burgo to be the president of the city council when last night he didn't even show up to vote, to give a speech. I mean, the speeches that they gave last night, I'm going to tell you something. Ward 4 city councilor, Derek Baptiste, he was moved to tears. So was I. So was I. Derek touched me. And Shane Burgo didn't even have the respect for his colleagues, for the New Bedford Police Department to show up. Didn't have the guts to vote no, but he just blanked it, didn't show up. He's going to collect the paycheck, take the pension credits. I don't know if he takes the health care plan, but he's eligible, even though he doesn't even show up. Doesn't show up to vote to give a wounded New Bedford police officer full benefits. It's going to be a long battle. Maybe Shane Burgo, like he did on the taxes, right? Remember, he wouldn't sign the letter bucking the governor to stop tax increases on the middle class. Auto excise tax, meals tax. He wouldn't sign that letter because he was afraid of the governor. He's more of a Democrat with Healy, more woke than he is a representative of the taxpayers of New Bedford, of which he's not one. So last night he doesn't show up. Is that because he predicts the governor's going to oppose this home rule petition? I don't know. But he didn't even show up. And now he wants Ian Abreu and Brian Gomes to keep their commitment to vote for him for city council president when he doesn't show up to vote for LeVar Gilbert's benefits.